Namaste and welcome. This is call 7 of our Freedom Frequency Mentorship. And as you know, I am Magdalena Freedom Rod, and I'm so glad that you're here joining us for this today. Today's a very important practice we're going to do. And what we're talking about is our reason for being. We're talking about the reason we incarnated, as we've been talking about in some of the other calls and looking at our Dharmic codes. Today, we're going to do an exercise. Now that you've done some of that Dharmic destiny work and seen the codes in your human design and your numerology, we're going to add another layer. We're going to add another tool that's going to help you actually bring that into your practical life, into the world. It's a way, let's find the pathway for you to deliver your Dharma. So let's see, I'm going to share my screen because I've got a presentation for you. Yeah, let's see if it works like this. Yep. Okay, cool. Ta-da! All right, great. So the name of this process is Ikigai, and this is about discovering your purpose and how to apply it in your life. So before we begin with this, I'm going to invite us to do a brief meditation because this is, this process needs to begin from a very internal place. It's important that you're grounded and balanced and centered when you do this work. So wherever you are in this moment, I invite you to become quiet and still. I've got a beautiful crystal bowl here, which is the root chakra. So I'm just going to chime this for a minute to bring some healing tone into the space and create a sacred space together that feels very grounded and rooted. So eyes closed, spine straight. Take deep, full breaths into the low belly. Sometimes it just takes a couple of breaths to come to center. Maybe put your hands on your body. I'm here, I'm grounded, I'm connected to the earth, I'm in my body. Okay, connected to myself, right? That's where we need to be to do this work. So I love this quote from William Barclay. There are two great days in a person's life, the day we are born and the day we discover why. So this is what our life purpose work is about, is discovering why we were born. And that's a lot of what we've been talking about in this mentorship, about our Dharma, about why we're incarnated here and now. So hopefully you've done some of the work from the other calls already and you have a more clear picture according to the Dharmic destiny system and the human design system, a bit about your Dharmic blueprint. So today what we're going to do is put that into practice. So this process we're going to go through today is called Ikigai. This is how it's pronounced. It's a Japanese concept that combines the term iki, which means alive or life, and gai, meaning benefit or worth. Excuse me. So this is essentially, we're talking about creating a life that's worthwhile or of benefit. There's a Buddhist mantra that says, may I be of benefit, right? So hopefully we are connecting with ways that we can be of benefit. Hopefully that's something that's important to us, because once we kind of have our own selves established and we're kind of on track and we're out of survival mode, which is part of what we talked about on the other calls, right? About doing the polyvagal work and working on our nervous system. So we get out of survival mode and we're in the ventral vagal state where we can actually have, where we feel like hopeful and in our power and curious and open and ready and willing to expand. And from there, it's like, where do we go? Right? It's like we're whole and complete in and of ourselves, but then what do we do? Don't we want to feel fulfilled by giving something? So this is where our life purpose comes in creating fulfillment in life. So going from mere survival, right, from surviving to thriving, because how nice is it of a concept if we can be thriving and if we can feel fulfilled in our lives? And I think about quite often, the end of my life, right? When I'm on my deathbed, when I'm coming to the end of, this temporary human existence, and how am I going to want to feel then? I'm going to want to feel fulfilled, like I did what I came here to do, like I loved with my heart wide open, and I cared for and helped and served as many people as I could, right? That's what really gives us fulfillment. And the way that each of us do that is unique. And that's what we're talking about today, what your unique way is to fulfill your purpose. I love this quote so much by Lao Tzu. I've been sharing this quote for many years. In fact, this is a graphic that I made probably over 10 years ago for the Visionary Lifestyle business, because it resonates so deeply with me. And this is what you're doing by showing up for this work. If you will want to awaken all of humanity, then awaken all of yourself. If you want to eliminate the suffering in the world, then eliminate all that is dark and negative in yourself. Truly, the greatest gift you have to give is that of your own self-transformation. This is just, it's so powerful, right? So doing the inner work is you already living your purpose and being in service to humanity. So just know that you showing up to do this work, it's a big deal. I really want to commend you and give you lots of credit for showing up. So many people are not showing up to do this work. People say that, they want to complain about the suffering in the world. They want to complain about the suffering in their lives, but they don't show up to do the work. So give yourself a nice pat on the back. You are showing up to do the work. Good job. All right. So here's what it looks like. This is the diagram for the Ikigai. So we're going to work our way through this in a circular way, and I'm going to guide you through it. This is an incredible process that when you come to the end of it, you get to the heart of really what you're here to do and how to show up and do that. It's really super cool. So I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and basically you're going to be you're going to be making lists as we go through this. So you're going to need a pen and paper, be prepared with that. And hopefully you've drawn out this. I've sent you already the diagram. Hopefully you've printed it out or you've drawn it. And a great way to draw it is just taking a glass and a small bottle cap, and you can figure it out. I think I'm not going to go through the time to explain how to do that. Hopefully you have this ready to go. Even if it's just a loose hand sketch, just do your best. And we're going to make lists as we go through this, and that's going to help you refine that life purpose. So in the Japanese, the way they explain it, it's a reason for being, right? Because that's what our purpose is. It's a reason for being. It's what gets us out of bed in the morning. It's the thing that expands our heart and drives us forward. Really, it's what we came here to do. It's our Dharma. Okay, so the first question. So I just want to show you this one more time. We're going to start here, and we're just going to basically go in a spiral around this graphic. But what we're going to do is one question at a time. So just have your paper ready, have your pen ready, and I'm going to ask you some questions, and I'm going to give you some time to make your list. And again, really only needs to be 4 or 5 things. You're going to see for some of these, it's going to come easily. For some, it's going to take more time. Just be easy on yourself. Stay in that centered place. That's why we start with that centered grounding meditation, so that you're really tuned into yourself. Make sure you have all distractions off. The kids are put to bed or in another room, and you can really focus on yourself and notice what are the first answers that come up when I ask the question. So you can make your list as long or as short as you want, but those first things that come up, that's probably your soul speaking. We want to do this from a soul level more than from a head level, maybe a heart level, heart and soul, right? Let's be led by our heart and soul, not by the human brain. Okay, so first question, what do I love to do? What are your hobbies, your activities, your interests? What makes you happy when you're doing it, regardless of even if it's challenging? What are the things that you keep coming back to? And what do you lose track of time doing? So go ahead and make your list, starting there. What do you love doing? Or that which you love. It doesn't have to be the verb of doing it. It can be things that you love. So I'll give you a few minutes for that. So just to share some of the things on my list to give you an idea. I love freedom, yoga, healthy eating. I love the ocean. I love traveling. I love learning. I love helping others. I love the divine feminine. I love community. I love mermaiding. Those are some of the things on my list. All right, so hopefully that's enough time. Let's go on to the next question. Now, what does the world need? Through your eyes, right? Because this is your personal Ikigai. So according to you, what does the world need? Good ways to figure out what this is for you. Excuse me. What are you empathetic about? What pulls on your heartstrings when it comes across your Facebook feed, or when you see it out in the world, or, you know, I don't know if you're watching news, but if you see it on the news, if you hear about it, what expands your heart and pulls on your heart? What are people chasing to have more of or to do? That would be an indication of what the world needs more of. And then a question, how can I become a cheerleader for a better society? Right? So what does the world need through your eyes? I'll give you a couple minutes to come up with that, to come up with those answers. And I'll read you some of mine. Just to give you an idea of what they could be, but definitely do your own. If some of mine are the same as yours, that's okay. You can use them. But really, I want to give you a minute first to tap into your own heart, your own soul. What does this world need more of? So I'll give you some of my answers now. Freedom, sovereignty, positivity, plant-based diets, plant-based eating, ocean cleanup. The world needs more healthy people. The world needs more yoga. The world needs more nutrition, education. The world needs more people in their purpose. The world needs more spirituality and more education. That's my list. And I would add to that, the world needs more compassion and self-awareness. Yeah. All right, so hopefully that's enough time for you to do your list. Let's go to the next question. So we're at the bottom of the graph now. And you can just write these all on your lists, okay? If you want to squeeze them into the drawing, you can do them there as well. So the next is, what can I be paid for? So this can be everything that you've ever been paid for can be on this list. Anything that you could think you could possibly be paid for. So what are the skills that you can offer that you can be paid for? What talents and skills have you been paid for in the past? What talents and skills could you possibly be paid for? And this is how we bring it into the practical, the real world, where we can actually monetize our skills and our gifts, and in a way that's fulfilling. So anything, everything you've ever done for money, anything you've ever been paid for, even if it's a paper route as a kid, lemonade stand. What are the things that you've been paid for in the past? What are the things that you could maybe possibly be paid for? All of these are equally important. All of these lists are equally important because they all hold a piece of your Ikigai for you to create a sustainable, fulfilling livelihood for yourself, where you get to deliver your Dharma. So I'll give you my list. Yoga, photography, fashion design, fashion production, movie production, coaching, coach groups. I can do one-to-one coaching, can do Dharmic destiny readings, all kinds of readings. Bartending, something I earned money in my 20s. Social media, I can get paid through social media, training people in social media. I can be paid as a business consultant. I can be paid for affiliate sales, referring products and services that align with my brand and my message. That's my list. If I dig deeper, there's probably more, but that's enough. So hopefully you've made it through your list. Next question, what am I good at? So this is such a beautiful practice for us to develop more self-awareness within ourselves. Feel free to make these lists as long as you want, but really only 4 to 5 things is enough. What do people come to you for? This is how you know what you're good at. If you're not sure, what impresses you about you? But it's really a good one to know. What do people come to you for? People send you a message and they're like, hey, what do you think about this? Or, hey, can you help me with this? That's how other people are recognizing you and a talent that you have or something that you're good at. So what's that list? I hope this is an enlightening process for you. I'll give you another minute. What am I good at? Your skills and your traits. Okay, and I'll give you my list. Photography, yoga, coaching, inspiring, social media, learning, helping others. Those are some of mine. Okay. All right, so next one. Now we're going inside the second layer of the circle, which is your mission. So what I want you to do now is look at the first 2 lists that you made, what you love and what the world needs, list 1 and list 2, and go through those and circle your top ones, circle your favorite ones. And those favorite ones that stand out are what you're going to put on this list. So list number 5 is your mission. So you're going to take from list 1 and 2, which is what you love and what the world needs. So just go through those and you'll just know when you look through those, like which are the ones that like your heart and soul are like, yeah, that's me. That's what I'm here for, right? You'll know. So you circle those, and then those are what you're going to put on your mission list. Okay. So I'll tell you mine just so you can understand how this works. So mine were freedom, healthy eating, purpose, and positivity. So those are all deeply related to my mission. So hopefully you've gotten through your list and you've gotten those. Okay, next list, number 6. So we're on the inner circle now of the graph. This is your vocation. So this is, again, going to be a combination of 2 lists. So I want you to look at your list. You already have what the world needs. You already have your circles from that. So now look at your list of what you can be paid for and go ahead and circle your top words from there. What are the ones, like, you know, take a deep breath, close your eyes if you need to get to the truth of it, right? Which are the words that are most resonant with my soul? What would you want to be paid for? What would you be interested in being paid for? For me, I'll tell you, it's not going to be bartending at this stage in my life. I could be paid for it. I could go get a job and be paid for bartending, but that doesn't resonate with my soul at this point in my life. And by the way, this is a process that you can do every 3 months, every 6 months to reassess in case things are shifting. So your top words from what the world needs and what you can be paid for. Your vocation. So for me, that comes down to coaching and education. The world needs education, and I can be paid for coaching. So I can be paid to educate people. So those are mine. Now we come to your profession, which is a combination of, again, 2 lists. So you have already what you've circled on what you can be paid for. Now we want to look at what you're good at. So what you're naturally good at, that thing that people come to you for. So look at that list and go ahead and circle the top things on that list. And then the words that you have from both lists are now going to go on list number 7, which is your profession. And you'll start to see as we get closer and closer to the inside of the circle, you're going to start seeing some themes appearing. I hope that's enough time for you. If you're watching the replay and it's not, just go ahead and pause it. I'll give you mine. My list is inspiring, social media, photography, and coaching, right? Just to give you an idea. It's just a few words, two to max 4 words really for this part. Now we're going to passion. So that's that next inner circle part, right? So this one is the combination of what you're good at and what you love. So you've already got actually those 2 lists. So which words have you circled in both of those? And those become your passion. Or maybe you can even deduce it down to 1 word. The less words you can get it to, the more you can refine it, the better. The more clear it's going to be as you go into the next part. So this is a spiraling process, refining what's really important to you. And hopefully, as you're going through this process, a lot is coming up and you're having a lot of feelings and realizations and thoughts and like, oh, contemplation, like, oh yeah, this is actually important to me. Yes, I do care about this. Oh, that's right. I'm good at that. Oh, I could be paid for that. I didn't think about that. You know, these are the kinds of, awakenings that you may be having as you go through this process. Okay, so now we've done all those colored bits, right? So now we're going to go even deeper. We're going to go to the list for the passion and the mission. And we're going to check what those words are. And hopefully you can get it down to 1 or 2 words, right? So what's on the passion list? What's on the mission list? And you find those words. And if you have only that, you have delight and fullness, right? Because you're in passion, you're in your passion, you're living your mission, but you have no wealth. Like, it's not sustainable, right? So what we're doing with this process is we're finding a way to make our passions sustainable and to deliver our Dharma in a practical way, deliver what the world needs, what we're passionate about, but also to get paid for it. So whatever's on your list for passion and mission, look at those 2. What are the words that are standing out the most? For me, it's freedom and health. Health, freedom, freedom and health are the kind of the top 2 things for me. Those are my passion and my mission are connected to this, right? These words are kind of guides for what those are. It's not necessarily like freedom's not my job. In a way, it kind of is actually, but you know what I mean? It's like, it's not necessarily the title of what we're going to do, but they are indicators that describe their aspects, their values that we embody. Okay. So now we're going to go to the next piece, which is mission plus vocation. So look at your lists for mission and vocation. Right? So that's number 10. You can see on the screen which one that's pointing to. So when you have this piece, you have excitement and complacency, but a sense of uncertainty. Right? If you have just that, right? If you have your mission and you have your vocation, but it's a bit uncertain because it doesn't include your profession and your passion. It doesn't necessarily include what you're good at, right? It doesn't necessarily include what you love. So look at those 2 lists, the mission and the vocation. Take the top words from there. So I'm starting to see, as I get to this inner circle on mine, the words are coaching and education. So I'm starting to see a theme here, right? Coaching and education. Next, you have profession and vocation. So look at those 2 lists. What are the words that you have circled? And which are the strongest words coming out to you from those lists? So if you have just this, you might be comfortable, but with a feeling of emptiness, right? If you just have your profession and your vocation, there's no passion, there's no mission, there's no love. May not even be what you're good at. You might be good at it, but it's just kind of what you can be paid for, right? There's no Dharma in that. There's no fulfillment in that if you have only that piece. So what are the words on that list? Profession plus vocation. Okay, next. Next, we're going to passion and profession. So looking at those 2 lists of passion and profession, what's the crossover there? What's the crossover between your passion and your profession? For me, it's coaching. Again, coaching. is why we're all here, because I'm saying yes to my Ikigai, to my purpose. All right. So basically, by now, you've got your main words, right? From that inner part. So your Ikigai is that sweet spot. It's the combination that will create a fulfilling life that's actually sustainable. Okay, so I'll tell you what mine all came to be: freedom, health, coaching, inspire, and coaching again. So inspirational coaching for health and freedom is my Ikigai. Helping people be inspired and healthy. Yeah, I'm glad that this is a benefit to you. I see you. Thank you for your lovely comments. So if there's any questions coming up at this point, feel free to drop them in the chat. Let me know. What are your key words? Right? I'd love for you to drop it in the chat and tell me what your key words are. What is it coming to for you? What are those key words? If you write all of those key words down, the ones from the inner circle, it gets pretty clear. It gets pretty clear. So I like this graphic. Your Ikigai is the sweet spot, the combination that will create a fulfilling life and sustainable, right? Because you can get paid for it. Okay. Yeah, some of you are coming on in the middle, so you didn't get to do it from the beginning. You're going to have to watch the replay to get the whole thing. That's fine. That's fine. So I want to share with you another exercise. So that's the Ikigai. So that's one exercise that's really, really useful for self-awareness, discovering your purpose, and importantly, how to deliver your purpose in a practical way, right? How you can get paid for it, how you can make it sustainable. And, you know, on the part about how things that you can get paid for, there can be combinations, right? There can be combinations in there. It doesn't have to be only one word from that list. You can have combinations of it. Okay, so this is one more exercise that I'm going to give you. And it's called SWAN. I'm curious if you've ever heard of this. It's just another exercise for self-awareness, because the more self-aware we are, the easier life becomes, right? Know thyself. The more we know ourselves, the easier it is for us to live with ourselves and to live with other people and to operate in the world. So the closer we can get to our true nature and knowing ourselves, the better off we're going to be in our happiness and our fulfillment, and how our contribution is, how we deliver our Dharma, our purpose in the world, right? So this is one more list. There's actually 4 more lists in this one that we're going to do. And so SWAN is an acronym for strengths, weaknesses, ambitions, and needs. So I invite you to make a list of each one of those. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are your ambitions? What are your needs? I notice in my work that so many people are completely disconnected to what they need. And the rest on the list as well. But it amazes me sometimes how people are so disconnected from what they actually need. So your strengths can be things that you already know you're strong in. It could also be things that other people come to you for and tell you that you're strong in, and reflections that you've gotten from other people. So listing your strengths. And then also really important for us to know what our weaknesses are, so that we can ask for support. You know, we don't have to do everything ourselves. And you can potentially strengthen your weaknesses when you are aware of what they are. We don't need to be strong in everything. This is why we have a community and family and friends and partners, you know. Maybe somebody else is better at a certain thing and we can delegate that to them or ask them for support with it, right? But really important for us to be aware of what our weaknesses are, and never ever in a self-shaming way of like, oh, I suck at that, I'm a terrible person. Like, no, that's not what this is about. It's like, I notice, for example, tech is not my strength. It's certainly a weakness. And so I call in expert people to help me when I get to a point where I can't do it myself. Right? So it's important to know these things. There are people who know more than we know. We don't need to know everything. We don't need to be a one-stop shop for all the things. What are your strengths? What are you good at? What do people come to you for? And not in an egotistical way, of course, just like own it. Be like, that's right. I'm really good at that. I'm strong in this department. Yeah. And give yourself credit for it. Make sure you celebrate yourself and give yourself credit for the places that you're strong. And everyone is different, and that's okay because we're all unique. It's perfect. And then really important to tune in. What are your ambitions? Like, what do you actually want to create with your one wild and precious life? When people say all the time, it's just one life. I'm like, I don't know if that's true. Nobody knows. None of us know. I have a feeling that there are more lives than one. However, in this one life, what is it that you aspire to deliver? What is your ambition? And this is connected to, you might have a better idea of this now after doing the Ikigai, right? You've just made lists of things that you love and that the world needs. So what are your ambitions? What is it that you hope to create? What is your why of why you get out of bed every day? This is connected to your purpose, right? The world needs more people connected to their purpose and delivering it. So what's yours? And then your needs. Really, really important to know your needs. I can tell you, like, for example, I need the sea. I need to be near the sea. I need to be near a body of water. I'm a mermaid. That's what happens. I'm Pisces. I'm a mermaid. I need the sea. I need water. I need healthy drinking water. I need healthy, nutritious food. I need a sadhana every day, or I go crazy in this world, right? How to stay sane in an insane world. I need a daily sadhana. I need connection. I need heart connection with other people. I need physical connection with other people. We are wired to co-regulate with other people. We talked about that in the polyvagal class. We need that. So what are your needs specifically? Do you need to go to bed early? What are your needs? Some of them you can meet on your own. Some of them you might need other people to help you meet, and that's okay. We are tribal beings. We are made to live in connection with others. And again, you don't have to do it all yourself. Okay, so I really invite you to, after this call, spend more time on this. Spend more time on all of this, contemplating all of this, and take all of this with you as you move through your days. Notice these, keep these questions kind of top of mind. All these lists that you've made and all these questions that you've asked yourself today, keep them top of mind and feel free to add to these, over the next coming days. Keep that journal open, keep that page open. This is what mine looks like, by the way. I did it by hand the first time, the Ikigai. So it's all by hand. So anytime I can just go in and add another thing to the list. Okay. So I hope that's useful to you. I hope that's helpful to you. I'd like to close the space with another short meditation just to ground all of that in. And as you sit in silent contemplation for just another couple minutes here, maybe more of those answers will land. And if you're someone who's sitting there looking at this list and going, I have no idea what I need, that's a beautiful place to be. I have no idea what my strengths or weaknesses are. Like, if you don't know the answers to all these questions, this is a beautiful place to be, because you are showing up to find out. And that in and of itself is an expansion. You're here to expand and to grow, and it's happening just by you asking yourself those questions. So for anything that's still not clear, I invite you to bring that into your mind now. And just allow yourself to get still. And this is another piece of the puzzle, is that most of us are running around in survival mode and not taking enough time to be still. It's so important to make the time and prioritize the time to be still, so that you can have clarity about the answers to all of these questions. Because as you refine those answers, the happier you're going to become. The happier you're going to become because you're going to be more authentic. You're going to be more connected. You're going to be more self-realized. All right. So sitting up straight, nice straight spine, tuning again into the root chakra. So really grounding all of this. Deep breath into the low belly. Thank you so much for your presence. Thank you for showing up to do the work. This is exactly what the world needs. And as you show up and do this work for yourself, you are automatically in service to the world. So namaste. The light in me honors the light in you. I love you so much. It's really my pleasure. Thank you for showing up so that I could deliver my Dharma and be in my Ikigai, because without you, this is meaningless. Thank you so much. Please share your answers in the chat pod in the group, your Ikigai words, if you're comfortable with that. I would love to hear them. Have a beautiful day or evening wherever you are. So much love.